Good, beautiful morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And today I have with me the energy of my guardian angel John, who wants to discuss the importance about remembering your past. Not reliving your past. He was very clear about this. Not about reliving your past, but remembering the past so it does not get repeated in your life again. But that has to, we'll get into that in a couple minutes. But good morning, good morning, good morning. So we're going to get in that in just a couple of minutes. I want to first say to my Patreons that tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be channeling a group called the Divine Collective, and they'll be discussing the importance of further awakening your consciousness. I'll quote the actual words. I'm just paraphrasing right now. The actual words they said are, they'll be guiding us to awaken further from the sleep of the personality, to guide us to awaken further from the sleep of the personality. Keeping in mind that your personality pretty much is one that was made up for you by the world, and many of you believe that what's in your mind is all there is to you. But for those of you that are Patreon members, that will be this evening, the Divine Collective. I'm told they'll be doing a miniature meditation as well around letting go of the emotions that keep you stuck in the personality. And wonderful. So join me tonight on patreon.com/William Michael Forbes. You might take advantage of this time and sign up as a free trial member, and consider then becoming a permanent patron after that point in time. We go live on Patreon in private group setting on the 7th of each month and on the 21st of each month. For those of you that want to know more about the private work that we do, the more intimate settings that we can have for connecting to your guides, your angels, ascended masters, and getting into an energy and an experience that's outside of what you're familiar with. So let's go over to this. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So we are at a very important and very powerful time in human collective unconsciousness. It's really important you understand that we are here to literally liberate ourselves from the world, to not be stuck and bound and struggling any longer. But that requires a few things. Right. Now, when John came to me this morning, one of the first things he mentioned is that I have overcome most of my attachment to my suffering of the past. But I remember it all. When you learn to let go of your emotions around your past, you actually will remember the past clearer and better than you ever thought you could. And you won't be affected negatively by it anymore. He said some of the advantages that arise when you begin to let go of the negative attachments to past experiences is that you become very aware and astute about people, events, and circumstances that may be repetitions of your past. He says that those of us that hold on to emotions about our past are bound to repeat the past, or we will be so conditioned by our emotions that we will ignore the signs and symptoms of the past repeating itself right before our very eyes. And I want to share my own personal experience with the past, which was very difficult and uncomfortable at the time I was going through it. And for many years after the experiences of my past, it was very difficult. I was a victim of sexual abuse at the hands of a stepfather from age 7 to age 14. And it was a very difficult time. It was emotional, physical, sexual, and mental abuse. And I became a very angry and an enraged person, young person. I became very angry, very enraged. I began to act out violently and aggressively to the environment. I got involved in alcoholism, drug addiction. I got involved in crime. And that went on for a good 10 or 15 years, where I was lost in that pain and that anger that drove all of my behaviors. When I was guided by John to not jump off the bridge, it led me to a journey of experiencing and exploring my thoughts and who I am. It was the very beginning when he guided me to Terry O'Brien. And Terry O'Brien gave me a book to read. And the book was called The Psychology of Self-Esteem. And it was a book that the first time I ever read any book that talked about thoughts, and that we are not our thoughts, that our emotions aren't something we should use to try and think with. And at that time, I didn't realize I could choose my own thoughts. When I began to realize I could actually choose my thoughts, and that most of the thoughts in my head weren't even mine. And this is going back almost 45 years now, to that time where I believed I was worthless and unimportant and insignificant. And it wasn't that I was, it was simply that that's how I felt emotionally. It's what I was trained to believe, that I had to be subjective to other people, that I had to be an objectified individual, that somebody could control and manipulate me because they could. They had physical power and strength. They had intellectual knowledge and wisdom that I did not possess, so they could manipulate and control a child very easily. And remembering the emotion kept me trapped in that paradigm of pain from those experiences. So even though the individual that had done all that harm to me had left my life, I was still carrying around the anger and pain. And when John led me to that person that gave me that book, I began a slow, long, and very arduous journey away from my suffering to a place where I am right now, where in the last 5.5 years, I've divested myself of the vast majority of those negative emotions that I harbored in my mind and body for many years. And I want to say to any of you that are listening, you do not have to carry your pain and anger around with you for the rest of your life. And it's really important that you learn to let it go and not carry it around. It doesn't mean you have to give up what you remember. In fact, the opposite will happen. You'll begin to remember more. But that's when my journey started, when I began to evaluate my thoughts and my emotions. And I learned how to, especially these last 5 years, learning how I'm being trained how to let go of old emotions out of the body. Because those emotions that you hold on to are what cause and create all the events and circumstances in your life. Every emotion that you harbor in your mind lives in your body, and it creates and manifests the conditions in which you find yourself living right now. Those of you that are listening to this with your ears right now, where you are, everything in your life is a product of your thoughts and emotions that you hold on to. When you begin to alter and change your thoughts, when you begin to release and let go of emotional attachment to pain and suffering, guilt and shame, a new life will begin to unfold right before your very eyes. And it will include oftentimes the people that are around you. Because when you start to heal yourself, the tendency is you begin to treat other people differently, and they begin to heal as well. So your own healing is a benefit to others. John said it was really important that I shared this with you today, that you understand that you don't want to forget your past, because one of the things that gave me is, one, I understand how to care about people who are suffering. Another thing I learned was how to recognize when people are going to try and take advantage of me. Number three, I got a deep sense of appreciation and respect that nothing in this world fundamentally can harm me. That in fact, the only thing in this world that can harm me is my own ignorance. That's the takeaway. He wanted me to stress that it's very important that your emotions are not you. Your thoughts are not you. Your memories are not you. But you need all of those instruments to learn your function of creation. That is how you're going to create the events and experiences that you want to create. Not the events and experiences you're creating because you're unconscious of your emotions, or you're lost in your emotions, or you're lost in your thoughts, most of which aren't even yours. But you need to awaken from that. You need to awaken yourself from the sleep of your mind. You're lost in your mind, and you may be lost in your emotions, and you may be lost in your body. And when you begin to question the nature and source of your thoughts, when you begin to evaluate that many of the emotions you might be feeling were projected upon you, it's happening quite regularly, you know. If you watch your television and your so-called entertainment, there are many emotions being projected into you. And you do not even realize it. Many of you do not realize that when you're watching that scary movie, when you're watching these sports where you've got to fight and overcome somebody, you do not realize that you're being given emotional energy that will affect you and what you do and what you think, and what you believe, and how you will treat yourself and how you'll treat others. Once you start to release yourself from the bondage of your old emotions, your old thoughts, you'll begin to move into a new world. You will never be subjective again to the influences of others seeking to manipulate and control you for their own personal gain, such as your governments who love to manipulate and control you, corporations, many of the branches of your civilized world now loan themselves to living off the suffering of others. Very few of them loan themselves to living off the prosperity and the abundance of love, compassion, playfulness, curiosity. Much of what is in your civilization now loans itself primarily to pain and suffering. And your cities all around the world reflect that your collective unconscious is now lost in your emotional body. It is why so many of you are acting out. You do not know how to distinguish yourself from your own emotions. You do not know how to distinguish yourself from your own thoughts. You do not know how to distinguish yourself from your own physiology. You have become subjective to them and subjective to the ideas and beliefs of those that gave those thoughts to you in the first place, that tell you to be very afraid of the world, that it's going to get too difficult here. Your world is changing all of the time. All of the time. It will always change, but many benefit from your fear, and they benefit from your uncertainty, and they take advantage of you because they act and sound like they know more than you. And yet, a little bit of digging and you'll find out that most of your leaders are sadly lacking in compassion and integrity, are bloated with the exorbitant need for material things which you pay for. Many of your so-called organizations of health and well-being loan themselves to the same function, to keep you in suffering, not to liberate you from it, to keep slave you to anger, to pain, to need, to want, to desire. And let me be very clear that the concept of debt is an abomination. There is no debt in the natural world. Only in the world of humanity do you see such a confusing idea that there is not enough. Because such confusion benefits but a few at the expense of the many. But at the same time, the many must learn to benefit themselves. For those of you that have been conditioned into believing that you are somehow less than you are, inside each and every one of you, there is a great and profound potential, yet unrealized for most of you. And you would criticize and condemn those who are truly in earnest, successful, and prosperous for their contributions to your civilization, your innovations, your inventiveness, your wisdom, your knowledge, your truth, all of those that participate in elevating humanity up in all sincerity. The rewards of their effort should be theirs. And equally for yourself, if you honor and cherish the uniqueness of your own being, if you articulate and leverage your own skills and abilities, you can lift yourself up as well. There has never been such an abundance in the world of man as there is right now. But those who have learned how to manipulate you and take advantage of you project emotional ideas into your mind to subjugate you to fear, uncertainty, that you would give that authority of your life to them. They keep you enslaved to your suffering, enslaved to your debt, enslaved into believing that someone or something outside of yourself is necessary for the fulfillment of your happiness. And while that may be occasionally true, there are individuals that can delightfully contribute to your well-being, your great ascended masters, your Jesus, your Buddha. These individuals contribute greatly to the well-being of others, but so do those who innovate such things as more expedient ways of traveling and communication that you might share with each other more intimately and directly, irrespective of where you are on the planet. But you yourself must liberate yourself from the shackles of the emotional fear and degradation that's being projected upon you. You must pull your energy away from those who would say to you, I will fix your problem. Let us do it for you. And you have trustingly gone along with so many of these individuals, much like the one that abused this one for many years. You are all being abused by those ones as well, but you cannot see that because you are caught in your fear, you are caught in your anger. Your conventional psychological sciences would call it the term the Stockholm Syndrome, and most of humanity is in the Stockholm Syndrome. Your enslavers have you enslaved, and you sympathize and agree with them. And you find yourselves being angry and frustrated, but you cannot and will not and dare not question the authority of those who are abusing you with their policies and their ideas that subjugate you, that take away your power, saying, we will solve your problem because you cannot. But let me say to you that within each and every one of you is a power, a knowledge, and a wisdom that is lost under the veils of ignorance that have been piled into your minds. That you must surrender those veils and remember that inside you there is goodness, there is light. You do not need another to shine your light. You must hold the lamp of your own consciousness up high. Push away the rocks of anger, doubt. Push them away. And push away those who would tell you you should be angry and that you should be doubtful. Push them away. You need to become aware that you are not who you've been told to think you are supposed to be. You are not who you've been told you think you should be. And your politicians will tell you, you are poor because of them and this. No, you are poor because you give your power to these other individuals who have groomed you for many thousands of years to believe that you are somehow lesser than those who issue edicts and policies that manipulate, control the flow of your creative efforts into their pockets, while blaming the great innovators of this world who themselves create great opportunity for humanity to explore, to experience, to heal, to grow, to recognize that inside you is the great genius that is in all. And you may be hearing these words and thinking that there is something inside you that is greater than what you've been told it is. And it is. But you must sweep away all of the veils that they seek to throw upon you, their news story stations, their entertainment systems that tug your emotions back and forth, manipulating you into fear, uncertainty, into divesting your power and authority to others. There is greatness in every living soul. Do not turn your greatness over to others, as many of you have done. Take it back. Look in the mirror and say, there is greatness in you. It is there in you right now. Not because I say so, because it is. The great God that beats your heart is in all. It is in all. It is not in some of you. It is in you. And it says, rise up, my child, and be of good spirit. Be creative. Be fruitful. That is what being creative means, to create. And yet you would listen to the words of those who keep you continually in suffering, taking your wealth and doing with it as they please, and telling you that you cannot do anything but what they tell you you can do. That is what is happening. And you must awaken. You must divest yourself of fear and anger and guilt and shame, and know that there is a divinity in you waiting to express itself fully and completely. You are a blossom unopened, because the world as it is of man, speaking in the term of human, is so structured at this time, and as it has been many times, in such a way to keep the vast majority of you in ignorance of your own power and potential, by saying to you, I will solve your problem. I will make you happy. Let me do this for you. Divesting you from your own ability to create and manifest. Do not doubt for a moment the greatness that is within you. You must cast aside the thoughts that tell you otherwise, because many of those thoughts were given to you. And you must cast away the negative emotions, project into your mind, turn your eyes and your ears away from the darkness that is being projected at you all the time through your so-called entertainment systems, your political systems, your health systems. Many of these things keep you enslaved in your suffering. And in your suffering, you are helpless to do anything about it, because you believe you are suffering and that somebody else will do something about it. You've been taught this. They stand upon their pedestals saying, we will help you. We will take care of your problems. When in fact, they take merely your wealth and your power from you. And each and every soul in this world is given the same at birth. Each and every one of you is given the same at birth. The same spirit is in you that is in all of you. And you need to awaken to this truth. Look at your minds. What are they thinking? Look at your emotions. Where did they come from? Where do your thoughts originate? You must question. And until you begin that question, you remain a slave. You will remain a slave to suffering. You will remain a slave to these people, these individuals who have learned very efficiently for many thousands of years to keep you afraid through force, through fraud, through law, to keep you in fear and in doubt of yourself and your own great power within you. And I, like many others that speak through this one, are here to tell you to awaken. It is important to remember your past, but do not remain subjective to the emotions from your past. Your anger and your fear were given to you by them. And they know of whom I speak, and you know of whom I speak. I do not speak of the great creators of this world that have given you modern flight and communication, that give you great visions of traveling beyond the confines of this planet, and there are many wondrous things beyond this planet to explore and experience. I speak not of those who create great ways of healing and restoring your minds and bodies. I speak of those who keep you in suffering. Those that are great innovators and creators that have the good of humanity truly in their heart because their own heart is good. Follow them. Listen to them. But listen not to those who would say to you, I will take care of your problem. For those who are truly invested in your well-being will say to you, there is greatness in you. Awaken it, arise it, nurture it. They will not do it for you. They will encourage you. Those who say, I will do this for you, are going to do it to you. Be very mindful of this. Be very mindful of this. You were given love in the form of life. The great love that resides and beats in your heart right now says to you, awaken, my child. Be that which I intended you to be. Fulfill your greatness. Do not allow others to put your light out. Words cannot harm you. Ideas cannot harm you. Actions can harm you. What others do or do not can harm you. But words and ideas cannot harm you. But they give you opportunity for choice. And I want to come back around to understanding this thing about this one that I speak through now. That he was in such a place that he believed he was so unworthy that he would end his life. He believed that. He was taught that. He was treated as a commodity, as something to be used and abused at the discretion of those around him. And that usage and abusage conditioned him to believe he was worthless. And he is not. And when I spoke to him on that bridge, I spoke with authority and I said, stop. Do not jump. I instructed him on what to do. And now I speak through this one today because of that. You are more miraculous than you can ever conceive in the framework of information and personality that's been bestowed to you by the environment, by what they have told you to believe about yourself, that life is difficult and hard. And there are certainly moments where there are challenges, but they do not have to be viewed as difficult and hard. And in your suffering, you may say, someone take away my suffering, please, I do not wish to suffer. And I would say to you, your suffering is the opportunity to realize that you can overcome it. But do not give your power to another that they would alleviate it for you shall become dependent upon them. And they shall control you and manipulate you as they are doing in your world today. Your so-called leaders of your governments that drink freely of the wine of your creation, your efforts. But you've been trained into believing that you must subjugate yourself to others. And in that belief, you do so. In releasing emotions from your body and from your mind, in learning to question your thoughts, you can begin to elevate yourself out of your enslavement to religious ideologies, your enslavement to political ideology, your enslavement to medical ideologies, your enslavement to corporate ideologies, your enslavement to concepts of wealth and prosperity. There's more wealth in a man's garden than there is in a bank. If you understand what I've just said, there's more wealth in a garden that you grow in your yard than there is in a bank. when you understand what truly wealth is, you will have no need to participate in a system that is designed to thrive off your suffering. And it is designed to ensure that you will suffer. And the few individuals that have escaped that process of suffering call out to you in many forms. They say to you, pay attention. Watch what they're saying to you. Watch what they're doing. Look at what they have you doing already. They have many of you rising up against each other. They know very well how to do this. They've done this for many thousands of years. The moment you begin to question your suffering, your thoughts, and you recognize that much of your suffering is because of how you have been indoctrinated by your so-called leadership, your so-called entertainment, the environmental stimulations that you allow yourself to indulge in. Many of your so-called entertainment systems tug your emotions around like a tennis ball in a court, back and forth, and leave you drained and confused about what just happened after watching that particular form of entertainment. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, they say. And they keep you in that cycle of, well, one day you might and one day you won't. And they keep you in that energy of never being fully certain of who you are. But you are very, very special in your consciousness when you awaken it. You may be very confused and uncertain in your mind, but much of that is what has been imparted to you by the world. Go inside yourself, evaluate your thoughts, evaluate your emotions and their source. You'll find yourself removing from your life many things. You'll find yourself removing so-called entertainment. You become more entertained with your brothers and sisters and participating with your families and doing things that are meaningful to you, your gardening and your art and your poetry, your health and your well-being, far more important than you can know. There's greater wealth in your own ability to grow food than there is to have piles of money. Thank you, John. I want to just add from my own personal experience what he's talking about when he says that it's important you let go of the old emotions out of your system. And there are simple ways of learning to do that. It's not a complex thing. You don't have to spend 10 years in therapy to learn how to let go of decades of suffering, literally. If you went through a really traumatic experience, there's very simple, easy to follow ways that you can learn to liberate yourself from your suffering. And I speak from personal experience, having gone through what I've been through. I was taught by my stepfather and other people in my environment, teachers and stuff, that were also bent in that way, bent out of shape. And that way they took advantage of children and people that were vulnerable, as predators do, right? They take advantage of people that are vulnerable. And I can clearly remember all the experiences I had with my stepfather, the times he would come in my bedroom 2 or 3 times a week at night, or the times he would take me to his warehouse and assault me there, or out into a field somewhere where nobody could watch or listen. I remember those times. They don't upset me or bother me anymore because I've learned to heal those emotions. I've learned to let them go, to let my anger, my sadness, my guilt, my shame, because for many years I thought it was all my fault. But that's what predators do. They make you believe it's your fault. They tell you there's something wrong with you and we'll fix it for you. I'll take care of the problem. I tell you that. And they never do. If politicians, health professionals were truly based in health and liberating you from your suffering, it would be done. Take somebody like Elon Musk, Candace Owen, Jordan Peterson. When they say they're going to do something, they do it and they get it done. Donald Trump, another one, does it, gets it done. They get it done. They don't waste any time because they're passionate about creation, about being and unfolding their own greatness inside themselves. And each and every one of you have that. But it wasn't until age 20 that I even got the inkling that most of the thoughts in my mind weren't even mine. I had my stepfather's voice in my head saying, you're worthless. Shut your mouth. Don't say anything. I'll kill your family. I had those thoughts in my mind. And those thoughts created emotion that made me feel very helpless. So by age 20, I wanted to jump off a bridge. That's what happens when you are subjugated to the will of another person that's evil. And the opposite can happen when you encounter beautiful people that can see the beauty in you and say, hey, I bet you could be an amazing writer. Wow. Well, you could be a real athlete, but people that see the good and the beauty in you, those are the people you want to start looking for in your life right now. Really, start looking for those people. Get away from your television and your movies. And I mean, as a kid, my escape was television. Because the abuse I was going through, my escape was television. But what I was watching on television was war and destruction and violence and dysfunction and confusion, aggression. Even the cartoons were blowing things up and harming one another. Get away from those things. Peel your eyes away from your televisions, your news, your politicians. Start listening to your own heart and mind. Question your thoughts and emotions. Most of the thoughts in our minds came from the world. And yet inside you, beyond what the world has given you, there is something really magnificent in you. And the purpose of my life is to bring the truth to you that the ascended masters and other multidimensional beings speak through me. And I'm going to leave it at that. It's just really important. I've got a reading coming up very shortly, so I don't have a lot of Q&A time today. Let's see where we are. I got about 22 minutes. But please understand this, that these beings, when they come to you, they don't just come to me, they come to many other people. God spoke to Jesus, Elijah spoke to Jesus, Moses spoke to Jesus. Ascended masters, God, other deities will connect you. There are ones that are very beautiful and loving, and there are ones that are very fearful. Now, why do you think it's called God and the devil? Because there are high vibrational loving beings that you can commune with, and there's low vibrational destructive harmful beings that will manipulate you and control you. And you need to learn to discern. I didn't know how to make that discernment. And it wasn't just my stepfather that sexually assaulted me. I was sexually assaulted in high school from teachers. And I didn't say a word about it because my fear and terror from my stepfather conditioned me not to say something. And you need to start questioning where your emotions came from, because some of those emotions you might be feeling may have been projected onto you. Please understand that. Some of the emotions that you might be feeling may have been projected upon you. And you don't want to go into blaming who did it. I don't blame my stepfather for what he did. I understand very clearly. In fact, I got great love and compassion for that man. I got great love and compassion for many of the people that harmed me, because I understand now what happened to them, what brought them to that function of behavior. But you need to learn how to let go of that pain and anger so that you don't burden yourself. Because many people I'm watching, going out and stealing things from the stores and rioting in the streets, these are people that you're holding on to anger, you're holding on to pain, you're holding on to self-judgment, you're holding on to rage. And you need to let that go to find who you really are, because you're not going to find fulfillment in no matter how many televisions you steal or how much money you acquire or how many banks you rob. You're not going to find yourself through the world. You're going to find yourself by going inside and beginning to remake your mind. It's the only way. It's the only way. It's the only way. Even Jesus talks about it this way. Go within. Know thyself. Be still. Know I am God, because God is within you. And it's very true. It's very, very true. Now, as a practicing medium, one of the challenges...
they can't hear all of a sudden.
Oh, they can't hear all of a sudden? Oh, hang on. Tell them to wait. Now we'll change that in 2 seconds. There we go. I should be back again on TikTok. There we go. Thank you. Sorry about the sound. My one microphone battery just passed. I just had to turn the other one on. But I want to say that You need to stop being subjective. I've been blessed in these last 5 years as a practicing medium. I'm still learning it. I'm still learning to hear, to feel, to see, to know the wisdom of the masters, learning how to allow it flow. I've been told I'm a master channeler because a lot of the masters channel through me. Buddha, Jesus, Yogananda, many others channel information through me. Divine Collective, the Ascended, other individuals. You can go to my YouTube channel. There's many recordings of these channeling sessions. But you also have this ability inside you to connect and commune to divine beings. You have that in you. You don't have to just depend upon the world of men. And I'm not saying about men like men. I'm humanity, okay? This whole nonsense about confusion about gender is ridiculous. But the whole concept that you do not have to depend upon the world of humanity for your information and your knowledge within you is a divine consciousness that beats your heart right now. And you can learn to connect to God within you. You don't need a priest, a minister, or a rabbi to connect you to God. You already are. You might need some ideas that help govern your actions in this world that are good and sound. But it's really simple. When you do good things, you feel good. You do bad things, you don't feel good. It comes down to very simple things. I know that from personal experience. Let's get into some questions here. So yeah, I'm still learning. We're all still learning. You'll never become perfect at what you're doing. You're always going to be in a work of progress. Good morning, everybody. Hi, how you doing? Thank you so much. Somebody saying, William, hydrogen peroxide helped a lot. I also gargled with it. Diagnosed with educative phagitis. Could mushroom powder cause that? Yes, mushroom powder can cause that. Yes, it can. I'm being told to tell you that. Yes, it can. And I want to say this about medical doctors. I believe the vast majority of medical professionals came into the world to be healers because the world needs healers. And they got roped into a system that is gained for profit and not for purpose. Because there's more profit in suffering, because everybody wants to get rid of the suffering, than there is in people being happy. If people are happy, there's no need, right? There's no need for a doctor if everybody's healthy and happy, right? But the system, in order to sustain itself, has to then create more misery. But yes, antibiotics, there are natural antibiotics that you can use from nature. And I highly encourage you, Lauren, look up natural antibiotics. Look up natural antibiotics. God provided everything for us in this world. Everything. Everything. So there are natural antibiotics. So yeah, most of the medical people, I believe, are natural healers, but they've just been brought into a system that keeps them subjugated to the system. Thank you for that super chat, Amanda. Hello, William. It is my son's birthday today. May I have a message to help him around this new year around the sun? Also, what can I do to help my mom? She said she is fading. Thank you very much. First of all, to have no fear. If she says she's fading, tell her to have no fear. The flesh can fade, the spirit will not. But tell her to have no fear, that you love her. Be in your love for her. The worst thing that will happen is the worst thing that anything going to happen to anybody when they leave the body is they'll connect to God. That's the worst thing. You'll go home. For your son's birthday, I'm being told to tell you to take him to the zoo. I'm being told to tell you to take him to the zoo. Let his eyes bear witness to the wonders of nature. Let his eyes and his heart be filled with the wonders of nature today. It could be a very interesting turning point for him to realize the wonders of nature. Wow. Thank you, Amanda. Great question. Question. Recently, I started to channel. Which consciousness delivers the message which often speaks of the ancients and star beings? Wow, that's a good question. I'm getting the first thing I'm getting. This is a Pleiadian entity, and yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to find a name, but I'm not getting a name for him. But this is a Pleiadian entity that's communicating directly to you. It's funny too, because there's a guy named Bashar that has the same thing, but this is a different being. It's not the same being that Bashar channels, but it is a Pleiadian entity. That's the only way I can identify it right now with what I'm feeling energetically right now. And Natalia is asking, the other day I was out in nature and looked up at the sky and took pictures. One image that I was aware of were a man with a beard and a dragon clouds. Do they have messages for me? Yes, they're saying to believe in the resurrection of creation. Believe in the resurrection of creation. A new humanity is coming. That's what they're telling me to tell you. A new humanity is coming. Natural antibiotics, oil of oregano. That's a really great one, Tanya. Great suggestion. Okay, I got time for a few more questions. Let's go over to TikTok. Hi, friends and family on TikTok. Good to see you. Yes, I'm letting go of the past and wanting to be healed from inflammation, but now doctors can't fix it. Again, you want to reduce inflammatory things like processed sugars, alcohol, caffeine, tobacco. Caffeine, by the way, is the most insidious addiction on the planet right now. It's the most popular addiction on the planet, and people don't realize it's actually an addiction. But you want to get those four things. You get rid of those four things, and breads for you. Those things, sugars, processed foods, breads, anything that's going to be acid causing. You want to remove it from your diet. Caffeine, alcohol, tobacco. Those things are no bueno. They're all inflammatory. Let them go. Thank you for that. That's a wonderful gift. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thank you for the gifts, everybody. Appreciate it. Yeah, get rid of all the acid-causing foods. Remember, there's money in disease, so they got to create ways to create disease. Because if you were eating natural food, you wouldn't be sick. If everybody were just eating natural food, we wouldn't be sick the way we are as a species today. It's only since processed food came into the world that sickness started really happening on the scale it is right now. I know you can hear that. Yeah. No sound. I know. I'm back. I know. Audio gone. Yeah. I'm just scrolling down the questions. Thank you for the badges. Thank you for the gifts. I really appreciate it. See, I hope I didn't just block somebody by mistake. It happens sometimes. If I accidentally block you, you can send me a message through my Gmail, through my website, and I can your name and username, and I'll unblock you. Thank you so much. Am I a starseed? We are all, but you are particularly, yes. You're very recent, actually. Good morning. Does David miss me at all? I'm getting he doesn't miss you at all right now. He's going on to his journey, but you need to open up to your new journey. You need to open up to your new journey with loving arms. Embrace. These words I'm being given to give you. Embrace what the Lord has to offer you. I'm being told to tell you that. Embrace what the Lord has to offer you. 5.5 years ago, I remember speaking words like this. It's hilarious how my life has changed. But yeah, I'm being told to tell you it's time to embrace what the Lord is offering you. Have your arms open for that. Tanya saying, my kitty seems to be getting better. Is my healing working? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Good for you, Tanya. Good for you. Because we are natural healers. Everybody's a natural healer. Your body naturally heals. Here we go. Thank you for the gift. I really appreciate that. Hi there. Hi. Hello. Wonderful. I have a lot of mucus coming up in my throat. Again, I'm not a medical professional or a medical intuitive, but I can tell you that you need to remove dairy products, any form of milky products from your diet. Very important right now. I'm also being told to tell you want to start including a pinch of Celtic or Himalayan sea salt in your glasses of water. Every time you drink a glass of water for the next few days, put a pinch of Celtic or Himalayan pink sea salt, make sure it's authentic, and put a pinch of that in your glass of water as you're drinking. Yes. And get out to the forests. Breathe the forest air. Breathe the forest air. I'm being told to tell you that as well. Hi, guys. Is there any chance for us to work? I'm not sure what that question means. Wonderful. Any message from my dog? It's funny. I'm just being shown a brown nose nuzzling against a leg. I'm just being shown a brown nose against the leg, rubbing against your leg. I presume it's your leg. So just close your eyes and feel that. Feel his energy, right? Because he doesn't have a physical body. And I interpret images according to what's in my mind from the energy I receive from them. Will my brother get better? Hi, Tina. I'm told yes. I'm told yes, but he has to release. He has to release. Yeah. Your brother's had some things happen to him that are not very good, that's never been addressed. He has to release that from his body, right? Emotion organizes matter. When we feel certain ways or we think certain ways, our bodies are affected accordingly. Emotions organize our body, right? They organize our body, and they also organize what we think. Oh, you're welcome for the message. You're welcome. How's my mom, William? Please and thanks. Hi. If I tune in your mom, I'm being shown somebody on a rocking chair on a porch somewhere. They're knitting. The old time. She's saying something about the old time. At peace now. Putting it all together. That's what I'm getting to tell you. At peace now. Putting it all together. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome, you're welcome, Daniela. Oh, cool. That's wonderful. Is green tea better than coffee? Yes and no. It's better though to get your own natural blends of teas, like grow some peppermint or grow some other things like peppermint that you can make your own teas with. Like it's really important you can make your own teas, right? Get cinnamon, grow cinnamon, make your own chai teas. You can make your own natural teas because most of the teas that they make have caffeine in them. But green tea is certainly better than coffee. Green tea is certainly better than coffee. The amount of caffeine in green tea is substantially lower than most coffee you'll buy over the counter anywhere, which they spike up with extra caffeine now. But yeah, green tea is better for you than coffee for sure. I do have ulcerative colitis, and I was eating dairy bars. I will stop them now. Please do. Please do. Your body can't lie to you. If your body's in pain and suffering, it's telling you it's not getting what it's needed. You're mistreating it. It's that simple. If your body has an ailment or a disease, it's because there's something causing it. And science can only measure it from the chemistry and say, oh, it's this chemical or this nutrient or this protein or this. Science does not understand the function and relationship of emotion. Pardon me, medical science. Most medical professionals don't understand the relationship between emotion and physical health. They don't. If they did, we'd have a lot more healthy, happy people. So you need to release that. The emotion in the colon, you've got to release that. I know some things happened to you. I know something has happened to you in the past that has not been resolved. And you need to release the pain of that from your body because your body is telling you it's in pain. Right? Book a reading with me. Right? Book a reading with me if you want to really get into the nuts and bolts and liberate that from your body. Literally, you'll liberate it from your body. They'll show you how to. I have about 4 minutes. Okay, I better say Where in Toronto am I? I'm not. I'm in Ontario, but I'm not in Toronto anymore. But because my hometown is Toronto, I call myself Toronto Medium. But you have to book a reading with me online. Go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and you can book a reading there, half hour, 1 hour. I also do customized meditations where we'll target a specific area of your life, and we'll create a specific meditation specific to you that you can replay and replay and replay again and again and again, so that you can correct or heal what it is you want to correct or heal. Wonderful. Yeah, great. So listen, everybody, I want to wish you all a wonderful, a joyful day. I'll look forward to seeing you guys on the Friday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. I'm being told to tell you something really special is going to be happening at the Friday show. So put that on your calendar. Something really special is going to happen on the Friday show of Shortcuts for Your Soul. So please come and join us on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for this. I have no idea what it is. They're just telling me that it's going to be special. Okay? That's all. Much love, everybody. I'll look forward to seeing you in a couple of days. To my students for Masterclass 1 and 2, I'm looking so forward to our class tonight and hearing how your last couple of days with the meditation has been going. Much love, everybody. Have yourselves a wonderful and a joyful day. Bye for now.